It's all about relationships. I'm going to tell you a couple of relationship advice that I've come across that have really, really helped me out. It's going to be okay, baby. Wait, hold on, don't let go. I thought we were supposed to let go. One. Ah. Well, I like the song. That's a good song. Relationships. Let's talk about them. And, if you're like me, you didn't grow up with a lot of good relationships to model. And a lot of times, like it or not, what we usually do is we just kind of reinvent the relationship that our parents had with our own version of it. And so I want to talk to you about relationships and show you just two things that have really, really helped me out. If you want to be real geeky, we can kind of go here. This is a really good, it's called the victim triangle. It's very, very important. It was developed by a guy named Karpman. And if you want to be real geeky, it's called the Karpman Triangle, drama triangle. It goes by different names. The victim triangle. And it's one of those things that is just, it's so simple to understand. In fact, Lynn Forrest, she does a lot of work on it. If you want to look at her video, it says Lynn Forrest, starting gate positions for the victim triangle. And I'll let you kind of watch that. In short, what it does is it basically says there's a victim consciousness and there's a victim triangle, and there's certain roles that people play, like there's the rescuer, there's the persecutor, and then there's the victim. And the only problem is that, well, notice that those arrows go both ways. So a rescuer kind of becomes a persecutor in a lot of ways. It looks like this, and a guy named Karpman developed it, and it's really worth, if you're looking for good relationships, you're looking for ways to improve your relationships. After kind of studying this, I realized that, man, I wish this would have been a part of a college curricula or even high school curricula because, for example, if you are, let me give you a real life example. I was driving a really nice car recently, a bright yellow Chevy Camaro, and I was filling up with gas. I was about to turn it in. It was a rental, and a girl pulled up, and she had like a really nice car too. We were talking about cars, and as I was driving off, somebody approached her and says, "Well, are you okay? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I was just talking about cars, dude." And so you can just kind of take from that story, the guy that approached her to rescue her from a car conversation, he is most likely a rescuer. And rescuers and victims and persecutors, they go together. And again, if you want just a really, really simple 8-9 minutes, Lynn Forrest work on the starting gate position. So number one piece of advice is learn the victim triangle. And notice that there are healthy aspects of the triangle, and then there's not so healthy aspects. Like, for example, you can help somebody versus there's helping and there's rescuing. And I'll let Lynn Forrest kind of fill in those blanks for you. But here's a really effective one. I learned this at a 12-step meeting. And this is so simple, it will amaze you with how dramatically it will improve or reduce conflict. And here it is. Remember, I was in a 12-step meeting, and this lady said, if I just eliminate the word you, when I'm in conflict, if I eliminate the word you, I don't have conflict. In fact, I just went through a situation where kind of a work situation where the person I was talking to was constantly referring to you. And whenever you're fighting and the word you becomes too prevalent, what you're doing is you're effectively just blaming the other person. So when you eliminate the word you from conflict, what happens? That person you're not criticizing, you're not contradicting that person, you're not blaming, you're talking about your own side of the road. So it is amazing that one little 12-step meeting I went to said one word. If we just eliminate the word you from conflict, like for example, in fact, just try it out. Tell me how it goes. Tell me if it works. The next time you're in conflict, notice how the word you either enhances or decreases conflict. And from my experience, my personal rule is that the word you does not come out of my mouth or on a text message when I'm in conflict, because it's just such a loaded term. And, we want good relationships. Relationships are the spice of life. A lot of times we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to have good relationships. So what do? Well, we just recreate the old bullshit. I'm a big believer in tools, learning the Karpman Triangle, the victim triangle, and even reducing the word you and reducing blaming. And it's hard to really get away from blaming because our leaders are constantly blaming everybody else. Like, for example, um, here's a good one. Hillary Clinton blames FBI director for her loss. Maybe you're a part of the reason. See what I did there? In simply saying that, it created conflict. But I use that as an example. Eliminating the word you from text messages or conflict will reduce conflict by 80-90%. And these are just kind of some Fibonacci, how to have better relationships. Because at 41, I wish I would have learned this when I was 18. Eliminating or how to fight and how to have constructive conflict versus toxic conflict. So tell me how these work for you. Tell me what you learn. And next time you're in conflict, just simply try that one Fibonacci, reduce the word you or eliminate it, and see what happens to conflict. Or when someone approaches, maybe you're in conflict at work or in a personal relationship, notice how that person uses the word you to deflect blame to you and how that really, really aggravates the conflict. So you guys be good. Good night. Hope these are helping you. Drop me some PayPal if they are. If not, you have a good evening. It's all about relationships, the spice of life, learning how to have good relationships, and really just learning tools. And the tools are out there. We just have to be willing to say, hey, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. So Jonathan Fibonacci, when I'm in conflict, there's one word I really, really watch, the word you. And then I also watch the victim consciousness with people. And as I'm forming new relationships, I'm looking, are these dynamics existent in the person that I may or may not have a friendship with or a relationship with? You guys be good. Email me your thoughts, Americana417@gmail.com.